The year is 1915. The eastern front of the Great War is raging, and deep in the swampy heartland of northeastern Europe stands a seemingly impenetrable stronghold, Osowiec Fortress. Surrounded by marshes and shrouded in thick morning fog, it appears like a phantom, defying every army that dares to approach. For months, Russian defenders inside Osowiec have braved relentless bombardments. Each day, German artillery shells crash into stone walls with deafening booms. Each night, the battered fortress flickers under eerie bursts of light. Yet despite the constant thunder of gunfire and the suffocating anxiety, the fortress still holds. Now, with their patience wearing thin and desperate to break this deadlock, German forces prepare a terrifying new weapon, the same one that shocked soldiers on the Western Front only months earlier. Poison gas. High Command is convinced that this will be the blow to finally bring Osowiec to its knees. In the pre-dawn stillness of August 6, 1915, a silent greenish haze creeps across the battlefield. Chlorine gas drifts toward the Russian defenders. Men hastily wrap their faces with soaked cloths, anything to ease the searing pain in their throats and eyes. They cough, they gasp, and they bleed. Many collapse, unable to breathe. Yet the German troops, confident that the fortress is theirs, begin advancing behind the toxic fog. They expect no resistance, only a mass of fallen men. But what happens next defies all logic. An event so horrific and surreal, it will forever be known as the Attack of the Dead Men. Figures appear on the ramparts, staggering at first, then surging forward. Through the toxic haze, a wave of Russian soldiers, their bodies burned and torn by gas, charges straight at the advancing Germans. Rifles raised, bayonets gleaming in the dim light. They move like specters of war, unstoppable, unrelenting. The Germans, expecting only corpses, freeze in horror. These are not ordinary men. They look like the risen dead. Their uniforms hang in tatters, their faces obscured by shadow, save for their hollow, glowing eyes. Some of the Germans instinctively fire, but it does not stop them. The Russian counterattack barrels into them with terrifying force. Bayonets stab, rifle butts crack against skulls, and desperate hand-to-hand combat erupts in the trenches. Panic spreads like wildfire. Some German soldiers drop their weapons, their minds unable to comprehend the nightmare before them. Others turn and run, their retreat descending into chaos as they scramble over barbed wire and corpses to escape the very men they believe to be dead. Within minutes, the battlefield is unrecognizable. Where the Germans expected an easy victory, they now find themselves in a desperate fight for survival. The air is thick with smoke, the screams of the wounded, and the sound of brutal, close-quarters combat. The sheer ferocity of the Russian charge, the sheer refusal to die, shatters the German assault. And then, just as suddenly as they appeared, the Russian defenders fade back into the fortress. The counterattack is over, but its legend will remain, forever known as the Attack of the Dead Men. Under the weight of heavy casualties, reeking chemicals, and the battered fortress's precarious condition, the Russian High Command soon orders an evacuation. But in that critical moment, Osowic's defenders have proven that even poison gas cannot quench their resolve. The Germans, who eventually occupy an abandoned fortress, gain little satisfaction. The legend of Osowiec, of that ghastly but heroic last stand, remains etched in the annals of the war. This is the story of Osowiec Fortress and the attack of the dead men. A story of endurance against impossible odds and a grim reminder of the horrors unleashed by new weapons of warfare. Though overlooked by many histories of the Great War, it continues to captivate those who learn of it. Even today, on the quiet fields around Osowiec, one can sense the echoes of that fateful day, a silent salute to the men who refused to die, even when death seemed certain.